Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind. See, what I'm about to show you guys in this video is the reason why all of this BLM, diversity, equity, and inclusion thing is so toxic and prone to manipulation. We've decided to drop meritocracy, to drop standards and drop actual merit in favor of a system that prioritizes identity over qualifications. And well, this is the obvious, predictable end result. People getting elected to positions of power based purely off identity, only to then fail spectacularly and cause chaos while you're at it, and of course what we always see, using race as a shield from any sort of criticism, just like Fannie Willis, oh did I embezzle taxpayer funds? Through my injury lawyer lover boy Nathan Wade, whoopsie, well you're just criticizing him and me because we're black. It's become all so tiresome and frustrating, but most importantly toxic and cringe, and here we go again with another example from the south side of Chicago. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so this is Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard, back in 2021, was hailed as a political superstar. Tiffany Henyard makes history as the first female mayor of Dalton. She's a woman and a POC. Well, who cares about results? It's a victory for woke quotas. Then, of course, fast forward to today, let's just say reality has set in, that maybe all the celebration surrounding Tiffany Henyard being a trailblazer and winning 82% of the vote, wow, maybe it was all just a little bit premature.
Okay, so if you've driven one of the expressways in the south suburbs recently, you've no doubt seen one of these giant billboards. They feature the name and the face of a smiling local politician. What you may not know is the money for these billboards is coming out of taxpayers' pockets, and that's raising questions for Tiffany Henyard, the Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, who has already come under fire for spending public money promoting herself.
This isn't the first time Henyard has used taxpayer dollars to burnish her own personal image. In fact, on other occasions, she spent a lot more.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Earlier this year, Fox 32 showed you how Henyard spent tens of thousands of dollars using employees and vehicles from the township and from Dalton, where she also serves as mayor, for a week-long walk to Springfield to promote her self-named cancer charity, which is yet to file required reporting.
It turns out that Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has quite the interesting track record. The Daily Mail breaks it down. First female mayor of tiny Illinois village, who hired, I can't even say this in the YouTube video, I'll have to blur it, but let's just say horrible person who was found guilty of crimes targeting people of lesser age, is slammed for living like a royal after demanding a $300,000 salary using taxpayer money for billboards, her hair and makeup, and passing a law so the next mayor will earn just $25,000. The 40-year-old politician regularly uses professional stylists and beauty teams ahead of public appearances, but is reticent to discuss how they are paid. She has courted even more controversy for a controversial salary bill that many feel is a bid to dissuade competition at the next election. Let's go into that a little bit. Illegal in so many ways, controversy surrounds Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's salary maneuver.
But back to that ordinance, which passed without Gonzalez's support.
They're like, I can't believe this. How could someone do that?
What it does is to ensure that Henyard continues to receive her $224,000 a year salary as township supervisor. But if a non-incumbent becomes supervisor, in other words, if someone challenges Henyard and beats her, the salary for that position drops to just $25,000 a year, a pay cut of nearly 90%. Trustee Gonzalez says it's a political poison pill to scare off competition.
Discourage people from running is probably the first thing that comes to mind.
Is this legal?
No, it's so illegal in so many ways.
So essentially, she's proposing a nearly 90% cut in her position, the mayor's salary, but only if she's not filling it. Trying to establish herself as some sort of dictator in her town of 30,000. Well, that's Tiffany Henyard for you. But I guess who cares, right? A win for progressivism. A win for gender and racial quotas. Now here's the unintended consequences of looking at race first. Blindly voting for people because they fill a particular identity group. That is the most easily weaponized concept that you could imagine. I mean, essentially, it's a freaking superpower, a magic cloak, a massive deflecting shield. Use taxpayer funds to have a mobile beauty salon following you around, hire horrible criminals to serve under you, make a complete mockery of your town on a daily basis, open up official hearings by playing disco.
New at 10, making a political statement with some disco in South suburban Dalton. Take a listen.
How y'all doing? Ain't no stopping us now.
All right, karaoke night apparently at City Hall. That's Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard kicking off tonight's board meeting with her rendition of the 1979 hit Ain't No Stopping Us Now. The reason for the throwback jam? An appellate court ruling threw out a June recall vote that would have removed Henyard from office.
Oh, and did I mention that she treats the Dalton Police Department as her own taxpayer-funded round-the-clock private security detail? Here's a news segment basically explaining the whole thing.
A former South Suburban police chief is blowing the whistle on the embattled mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard.
Yes, Fox 32 has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars in overtime.
And the manpower was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost breaking, having to provide officers on the detail rather than have officers out patrolling the streets.
Former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins spoke to us from Florida, where he's taken a new job. But he says he remains frustrated by what he experienced leading an undermanned, overworked police department. Last year, Fox 32 investigated Henyard's detail, following along as Dalton police officers drove her from morning till night, often to her second job as Thornton Township Supervisor in South Howland, racking up hundreds of hours of overtime, costing taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around protecting the mayor.
At least 2 and as many as 4 officers at a time, he says. Collins says the security detail was warranted when it started in 2021. After a police-involved shooting sparked protests in the community.
And at some point, the protests stopped. The things going on around the protests all eventually stopped. However, the detail continued.
But now he says it's turned into more than just security. Officers are being used as Henyard's personal valets.
You can do all of that, essentially be openly, totally corrupt, but the moment you face any criticism, well, you pretty much know where this is going.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Everyone should be ashamed of themselves for attacking a black woman in power. It's essentially the exact same thing that we heard from Fani Willis in her defense of herself and Nathan Wade.
Lord, you're flawed, hard-headed, and imperfect child. I'm a little confused. I appointed 3 special counsel, as is my right to do. Paid them all the same hourly rate. They only attacked 1. And I hired 1 black man, another superstar, a great friend, and a great lawyer. Oh Lord, they gonna be mad when I call them out on this nonsense. First thing they say, oh, she gonna play the race card now. But no, God, isn't it them who's playing the race card when they only question 1?
It's basically the same thing. Well, this is what left-wing DEI activism has brought the world. The total weaponization of perceived victimhood.